Hi, I'm Ron. This video is an introduction to balance and why it's important. Balance is usually defined as the ability to keep our center of mass, and when you think center of mass, when you think belly button, your core, over a stable base. Now, the base is obviously our feet. So the muscles in our feet and our ankles are the most important part of thinking about how do we work to maintain balance. It's important because as we get older, if we're not active, our muscles atrophy and deteriorate just like our bones do. If you've looked at my top 10 list of biological markers of aging, numbers 1 and 2 are a loss of muscle mass and a loss of strength. Obviously, the loss of strength comes from losing muscle mass, so they're very sequential. Number 9 on the list is osteoporosis. Osteoporosis is having very brittle bones, bones that aren't dense, bones that don't have a lot of strength. The combination of the two together is very dangerous and also is the result of inactivity. And it's why you see older people that are very frail, that when they fall, they often end up breaking bones. They break wrists, they break hips, and often that leads to further complications that none of us want to experience. Now, our brain gets information about our balance and how we're oriented in our world from 3 different sources. Number 1 is the vision. We can see what's going on. We orient ourselves to the horizon. We know when we're stable. Our inner ear also tells our brain how our head is oriented. Are we upside down? Are we sideways? How we're oriented. Number 3 is called the somatic sensory system, and it's located everywhere in our body. We have an ability to sense various things. What are we standing on? Is it stable? Is it moving? Is it soft? Is it hard? Is it vibrating? Is it warm? Is it cold? Lots of things about our body come from the somatic sensory system. Our brain gets this information from our nervous system, decides what to do, sends it back to our feet. Now, if we lose our muscles and we're weak, that means we can't react quick. Is that a danger? Well, perhaps. Because if your bones are weak and you feel yourself about to fall and you can't move quick enough to move your foot out there to protect yourself, to stop yourself, then you're going to fall. If you're quick enough, but you get your foot out, but you're not strong enough in order to prevent it, again, it's more dangerous. So we constantly hear about the value of exercise and the importance of exercise. Many of you know people who have broken hips, gone through hip replacement surgery. What a horrible impact on their lives. I don't want that to happen to me, and I'm sure you don't want that to happen to you. So the more active we are, the less we think about balance, because the muscles in our feet and our lower legs are getting exercise. They're going to be strong. We're used to moving. We're used to reacting. We have an ability to move quickly, and we have the strength to prevent an unwanted situation or a fall. Let me give you a couple of examples of how these 3 systems work together, or confuse you. Sometimes we get conflicting information. In my car, I have a button that folds my inside mirrors in or out. And I always put them in when I'm driving in the garage. When I back out of the garage, as soon as I pass the door, I push my button so the mirrors start opening up. Now, if I'm looking in my mirror, at the same time I'm backing up, and I look at the outside mirrors, my eyes tell me as I back up, I'm moving backwards. Now, I know this is happening every single time I do it, but it's still pretty disorienting, because if I look in the mirror and I'm backing up and I happen to glance in the outside mirror, which is opening, it shows me 2 different perspectives. And your brain gets a little confused with that. Just try it. If you may have already experienced that. Now, our sensory system, here's how this works. Here's a good example. Make sure that you have a chair beside you or something you can touch, just to make sure we don't hurt ourselves. Now, I want you to stand with your feet shoulder width apart, nice and solid, stable, and just concentrate on your feet. Wiggle your feet around. Grind them into the floor. Make sure they're flat on the floor. Now, just stand quietly and think about what's happening to your feet or in your feet. I don't have a lot of activity going on. You probably don't either, because there's not much happening, because we have a stable base. Now let's change that base. And let's go to a 1-foot stance. Just bring 1 foot to the ankle of the other. Touch the chair if you need to. Now, if you're touching the chair, of course, you still have a more stable base than if you don't touch the chair. So if you don't, tell me what's going on in that foot now. Likely all kinds of little twinges. The stabilizer muscles are making adjustments, telling your brain you need to move this way, you need to move that way, a little forward, a little back, sideways, and it's happening faster than you can think about it. Go back to that again. Now, how do you exercise those muscles? Well, you don't deliberately exercise those muscles usually, especially if you're sedentary, you're watching television all the time, or just sitting, those muscles get very weak. Now, when something is needed from them, how are they going to react? They're too weak. They can't respond fast enough or strong enough to keep you upright, and you're more likely to fall. So if you're active and you're out walking, playing badminton in the yard, doing anything, just moving, you're going to be more likely to avoid a fall and to avoid injuring yourself. There are many balance exercises you can do, and the more one-foot exercises you do, the stronger those will be. So walking, just walking on the spot. If you can do nothing else, that will help. Get outside, go for a walk. Walk on different types of ground. Walk on the grass, walk on the concrete, walk in a park. Walking on the grass is the best thing if you can, and if you can do it barefoot, it's even better because you get a lot more information about the surface you're stepping on from your feet. You know, we're stepping on nails and big rocks, things like that, of course, but we want to be able to get the information to our brain so we can react properly. How do old people walk? Think about watching an old person. And what happens, remember, we have three sources of information: vision, inner ear, and our sensory system. It's called three sources of information. When you picture an old person walking, I picture somebody, I remember a couple specific older people that, and actually go to any shopping mall, watch lots of them. As they walk, you'll see people walking, as their vision deteriorates, they bend over, they're looking at, they want to see the ground, they want to see what's coming, so they stoop. Now, if you walk like this, what's going to happen? Is that good for your back? Is that good for your neck? The answer is no. So they stoop, and they spread their feet a little wider apart because they want a more solid base, right? So, and sometimes they don't even pick their feet up off the ground. They just shuffle. That's how an old person walks. I don't ever want to be doing that. I'm sure you don't either. If we work on one-foot exercises, simply standing on one foot, now until you get used to it, you may need the chair. But you can do all sorts of things. Up on your toes, works your foot. There's lots of foot routines. Here's a couple other things you can do. Up on your feet, walk around on your toes. Do it as long as you can. Now, if you stand with your feet roughly shoulder width apart, we're pretty stable, remember? Now, if you stand up on the outside edges of your feet, how solid are you side to side? Well, you're probably rock solid side to side, but think about the muscles you're using now if you stand on the outside edges of your feet. Then stand on the inside edges of your feet. Can you walk around that way? Of course you can. So walk around your living room. Walk around your basement. Get out your yard. Just walk around on the outside edges of your feet, on the inside edges of your feet. Try walking on your heels. All we're doing with these exercises is working muscles we don't normally use, if we're sedentary, that is. The more active you are, the more you're using all of these muscles. So, one-foot exercises are simply, I call this a low crane. One foot to the ankle of the other. It's a low crane. Stand there for a while. Touch the chair if you need to. Feel those muscles twinging. Every time you're twinging, the muscles are working. You're exercising. They'll be stronger. They will get stronger simply from doing this. Both feet. Now, let's go to what I call a high crane. All we're going to do is lift this foot to the inside of the knee. Bring it up on your thigh if you can. If you can catch it, hold it. Use your arm for stabilizing. Counterbalance. Touch the chair if you need to. Hold that. Feel what's going on in your lower leg. Now, when you're doing this, you're working the muscles at the ankle level as well as in the foot. And you need to do both. From the ankle down is what we want to concentrate on. We want to do both sides. So what you do to one side of the body, we do to the other. Now, it takes some time to get used to doing it. Do it 2 or 3 times a day. You'll find it pays tremendous dividends. If you want to be active and you want to maintain your lifestyle, otherwise you go down that disability path where you become more and more disabled. Some people aren't aware of it because they're so sedentary until one day they try to do something and they can't, and then they're surprised at how fast they've lost it. That's it for now.